So in this podcast, I have a few things to discuss, a few things to talk about. And one of the things that I have to talk about is the rise of another genre, which is the Crama genre, which I think probably started with MRB, Mummy Ramblings. I'm also going to look at other cases on this channel that I've never looked at on this channel, that I've never discussed with you, because I'm interested in a lot of other cases. So I won't be looking back at the other cases that I've already done. I'm going to be looking at cases from the past and more present day cases. And I'm going to tell you what I think of these cases. And one of the cases I'll be talking about is the Letitia Stout case. Now, look, I can barely pronounce this woman's name. I wasn't interested in the case initially. And because of, the Natasha and Zav girl thing, I actually went to look at the case and to re-examine the case and do some research on this case. And I discovered quite a few interesting things. So I'll be discussing that case. And also, Mummy Ramblings has been talking to Sandra Rzuceks. Here's what she has to say. This is all coming up on this podcast. So I'm going to start with Mummy Ramblings. Mummy Ramblings is not a channel that I watch very often. It's a channel that I've watched on and off over the years since I've been on YouTube. And look, I think she's good at what she does. And, she does her. I've never had a conversation with her. I've never spoken to her, but I have no problem with the lady. I mean, we're not friends or anything like that. But, I watch her channel every now and then, and it's just every now and then. I've never really, I'm not a member of her channel or anything like that. But I do know that she's friends with the Rzuceks, and particularly Sandra Rzuceks. And, she said that she has been talking to Sandra, and Sandra has said, look, she knows about the photographs that were put out of Frankie. And, she's kind of had it with the Crama on the platform. So, that's why the Rzuceks have been so silent. I think there's more to it than that, but I think that's, definitely part of it. I think there's also, Frankie made a lot of promises about this court case with AD. And as far as I'm concerned, none of his promises ever came to fruition. That doesn't mean to say that something isn't happening in behind the scenes. I don't know. But, they've kept quiet for a while. And Sandra has been talking to MRB, according to Mummy Ramblings, and saying, look, she's just, she's past, how would I say it? She's past the point where she can take it anymore. And, she's decided to take a step back. Because remember, she had that cooking channel, which I enjoyed, and I still need to make her Easter bread. I mean, I enjoyed her cooking channel. And, you realize she doesn't post a lot on that channel anymore. She'll post community posts, but she doesn't, upload a lot of video content on her channel anymore. And that's because of, all the Crama and the drama that has happened on YouTube, and also what's been said about her daughter, Shanann, and what's been said about Frankie. She's taken a step back. And I think most of us can understand that. Now, let me get on to the rise of the true Crama genre on YouTube. When I first started on, my channel, and, I thought about discussing cases, I did not know for 1 second, I did not think for 1 second that this genre would take a dramatic turn on the various channels that discuss topical cases, like, the Lori Vallow case or the Watts case or whatever. I won't be discussing any of those cases on this podcast. I will always revisit cases that I've already discussed on this channel, but I'm looking at other cases that I have yet to discuss with you. And I'm going to start with Leslie Van Houten. She's just been released after spending 53 years inside. And she very much sees herself. I mean, she's aged so much. 53 years does age you. I mean, she's 73 years old now. Now, she very much sees herself as a product of Charles Manson and, kind of projects onto him everything that she did. Whether that's true or not, she was only 19 when she went inside, and she's coming out at the age of 73. So she's got to, unless she's going to get a book deal, she's got to find a way how to assimilate back into society, get a house, or pay her own bills, go to the supermarket, get a job. All of these things that she's going to have to learn at the age of 73. I mean, so many years spent away, so many years lost. She's going to have to learn to assimilate back into society. Now, personally speaking, I don't think she should ever have been released. Can Sharon Tate be released, or any of the others? No, they can't. I'm sure Sharon Tate would like to be released. So, I think that she should have served her entire life. However, that's not the case. She's been released, and she's all grey-haired. She looks every bit of her 73 years, and she's got to get back into society now. Like I said, she very much sees herself as a product of Charles Manson and his influence. Me personally, that's not an excuse, because nobody could influence me. Even at 18, 19 years old, no one could have influenced me to do what she did. No one. So that's what I think about that. I just quickly want to touch on the O.J. Simpson case, because this is a case that I haven't discussed on my channel, but it's one of the biggest cases ever, if not the biggest. And there is going to come a time when I discuss the scene where, in court, where O.J. was made to try on the gloves. And for me personally, other people can disagree. For me, that's the biggest reason why O.J. Simpson walked, because those gloves didn't fit. And you can argue all day, or we discuss all day, why those gloves didn't fit. And, a big part of the reason is because he was told to put rubber gloves on underneath those gloves. So if you put rubber gloves on underneath a pair of gloves, they're going to be hard to put on, and O.J. Simpson loved every moment of trying on these gloves, realizing that they didn't fit his hand. And a big part of the reason was because of those rubber gloves. But the fact of the matter is, in front of the jury, as he tried them on, the gloves didn't fit. Johnny Cochran, famous line, if the gloves didn't fit, you must have quit. My personal feeling is that that was the key moment where O.J. Simpson was going to walk. There are other reasons too, but I think that was the key moment. And I'm going to do a body language analysis on that at another time. It might not even be this year. It could be next year for all I know. I also want to say this, and I'm not going to get any applause for saying it, but I'm only 70% certain that he did it. And there are many, many reasons why. When I actually read many books on this case and did research on this case, I found out that a lot of the things that the media put out wasn't exactly true. One of the things that wasn't true is that O.J. Simpson was hiding in bushes and watching his wife and following her everywhere. In actual fact, he was in a very happy relationship with another woman called Paula Barbieri, who was a model, a decade younger than Nicole Simpson. Before this actually happened, before this big event that we all know about actually happened. So he was with a younger woman, an attractive woman, and O.J. Simpson was a handsome man at the time. And he's aged now, but he was a handsome man at the time. He could get any woman that he wanted. There are other reasons that like I said, I'm pretty sure that he did do it, but I've never been 100% certain for many, many reasons. And I might discuss those reasons with you at another time. I think he probably did do it, but there's a significant percentage of me that thinks that he didn't do it. And I'm going to explain why in another podcast. And that I know that's not a popular opinion. But, there's this idea that O.J. Simpson was a handsome man with a lot of money. He could get any woman he wanted. Any woman he wanted. Any woman at any age. Women would have lined up, to meet O.J. Simpson, to shake hands with O.J. Simpson, to get to kiss O.J. Simpson. And, he could have gotten any woman of any race, of any ethnicity, of any age, of any, he could have gotten a model, he could have gotten an actress, he could have gotten any woman he wanted. Nicole was not the only woman that he could ever get. Also, Nicole lived a very extravagant, well, put it this way, she lived a very nice lifestyle provided by O.J. Simpson. Nicole Simpson never worked a day in her life after she met O.J. Simpson and started dating him. She was working at the Daisy, and after she met O.J. Simpson and started dating him, she never worked another day in her life, and everything she did was on O.J.'s dime. And I'm going to talk about all of this stuff at another time with you. So, in contrast to this media image that she had, this marriage that was just not a great marriage at all. In fact, she had a very, very good marriage, a very enviable marriage. She had 2 beautiful children out of that marriage. She went on many holidays. She got cars. She lived in a nice house in Brentwood. Yes, there was domestic issues in that marriage. There's no question about it. But it wasn't on a daily basis, and it wasn't on, this was not happening every day. OJ and Nicole had a fantastic marriage that was very, very enviable. So that's another misconception that the media put out, that it was that it wasn't a good marriage, and that, there was domestic issues every single day of the week. That isn't the case. So anyway, I want to finish this with talking about the Letitia Stout case. Like I said, can barely pronounce the name. I had no idea that Letitia Stout had a biracial daughter who actually testified during the trial. It shows you how little interest I had in the case. And now I'm very, very much interested, partly because of the noise that's been made about the photographs that were put out. And I didn't actually know that Gannon was her stepson. I had no idea about that. And even though I don't know much about this case, I'm not, I haven't done a lot of research. I've just done a little bit of research. I'm getting to know it. I'm doing more research. I'll be doing more research after this podcast ends. It's very obvious what her role was in this. It's just very, very obvious that she did do it. And, I have no doubt in my mind that she did do it. What I want to find out is, her motives, why she did it. And I had no idea that this was her stepson. I didn't know. So I'm going to do more research on this case. And, God bless Gannon. God bless him. So what has happened as a result of Natasha and Zav putting out these photographs is we have content from other creators who are getting up every single day and live streaming about it. So it's providing these creators content. Save Robbie has done it. Mummy Ramblings is talking about this constantly. It's her current content talking about Natasha Cooper a lot more than Zav Girl, because she has a previous beef with Natasha Cooper. And so it's going on and on and on. And, it's been on the news. This is providing a lot of noise and a lot of heat and a lot of content for creators. And so I have started to do some research on the Letitia Stout case. Like I said, I can barely pronounce this woman's name. I had no interest in the case. I was more interested in the Lori Vallow case. But I'm going to do a lot more research on this case, and I am going to do some more investigation. If you want to give me some feedback, if you want to tell me anything about this case, because I don't know it very well. I'm not sitting here telling you that I know this Letitia Stout case very well. I don't. I'm very new to it, in fact. If you want to give me any more information, any more feedback about this case, please feel free to do so. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear the information. From what I've learned so far, this happened in Springfield, Colorado, and Letitia changed her story many times. Gannon was her stepson. And, I've got some idea about dates and stuff like that, but I don't know that much about it. what I can say is, from what I have seen of Letitia, she has these very, very deep set, haunting eyes. I don't know if that's just the way she looks. I've seen previous pictures of her and she doesn't look like that. So I don't know if this was an act for her in court to make her look, to portray her in a certain light to help her. I don't know, but she has these very like dark, kind of haunting, deep set eyes. And I think she was married to the father of Gannon. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm just, it's another Colorado case, and I'm just basically trying to learn more and more about it. But, I have no doubt that the outcome was correct. I have no doubt that she's responsible based upon what I've read and researched so far. And there's a lot more that I need to find out about the case, and I will be doing so. And periodically, I will be talking about other cases on this channel, because I'm not one person who wants to, talk about the same thing all the time. I like to vary it a little bit, as you well know. And there's a lot of other cases that I'm interested in, lots of other cases. And so I've tried to make this podcast as long as possible, because I've had requests to make my podcast longer. I'm going to try and do a podcast that lasts even longer than this one of these days. I actually find talking quite challenging. I know probably people are kind of probably surprised about that, but I do find speaking quite challenging. Mummy Ramblings, she does hours and hours of live streams, and she goes up and down in emotion. And, all power to her, but, you have to have a lot of stamina to be able to do that. To, talk for hours and hours and hours. I kind of like to keep quiet. Sometimes I'm mouthy or lippy, but, I like to kind of watch and listen rather than talk. So, I'm going to try and make some of these podcasts longer for you, especially when I talk about these cases, Crama cases. Like I've said before I end, I think MRB, Mummy Ramblings, I think she started this new genre on YouTube, where it's not just about cases anymore. It's not just about true crime. It's about Crama, and mix drama with these cases, and you get Crama.